In this day and age, humanity had plunged headfirst into chaos. Monster invasions were no longer an emergency, they were routine. But just as the world teetered on the edge of destruction, something awakened. Humans began to receive superpowers, unlocking mysterious auras that shimmered with color, colors that marked strength. Blue was the weakest, red the pinnacle, an unmistakable sign of S-rank power, as the Manhwa crowd would call it. Those with such gifts became known as heroes, the last line of defense between what remained of civilization and the monsters clawing at its borders. Among them was a girl, one who had dreamed of heroism ever since she was small. Her powers awakened during middle school, healing, a gift for restoration. And when she registered with the Hero Association, her rank was a shock, A rank. But not all dreams survive the battlefield. During a mission gone horribly wrong, her team was obliterated, crushed, torn apart. A teammate lay before her, barely breathing, desperate for her powers. And she, frozen by fear, couldn't move, couldn't activate anything. Her body locked, her gift dormant. She stood still, while someone died. And what good is a healer who cannot heal? That moment marked her fall from grace. In the present day, her face still loomed large, but only on a billboard. Flashing high above the streets, her smile now marketed heroism like a fast food combo meal. The ad urged the public to join the association with her face as the bait. Below, passers-by looked up. Some admired her beauty. Others questioned why an A-rank hero had been reduced to a mere digital poster girl. None of them knew the truth. The girl who once dreamed of being a savior now served as a mascot, used as an object, paraded for her appearance, stripped of everything but image. She kept her identity hidden whenever she walked the city. She didn't want to be recognized, not as a failed hero. So when she overheard boys commenting cruelly about the girl on the screen, not knowing she was just steps away, she bolted in shame, only to slam directly into a pole. Stars danced before her eyes as she stumbled. But then, something caught her attention. Just beside the pole, a small box, and in it, a cat, curled up tightly like it had been tossed aside. Concern overtook her embarrassment. She knelt down, wondering who could have been so heartless. But her gaze landed the cat's tag. One word: stronger. She looked up. Across the street, a gym. Stronger cat, gym cat owner? The logic was tenuous, but unshakable. She scooped up the cat and stepped into the gym to return it. She did not expect what came next. Inside, two very heterosexual men were caught mid-act, though what act exactly no one could say. It had the awkward energy of a family drama, an action movie, and a shampoo commercial all at once. She stood there, frozen, nervous, and then he turned. Malwang, the gym's apex specimen, towering, loud, and dressed in a tiger-themed bodysuit that screamed either dominance or unresolved trauma. He noticed her standing there and misread everything. To him, she wasn't a lost girl with a cat. She was a fresh gym baby, a recruit. He slashed the gym door open dramatically, ready to induct her into the chaos. The girl, still clutching the cat, could only whisper the word, cat. Malwang met eyes with the feline, who stood there like it had just cured cancer. The stare-down was intense, but telepathically, he understood the cat's intention. Then he shouted for his companion, Kiwung, to serve up a plate of jokbal. Protein first, questions later. The girl still had no clue what dimension she'd stepped into. The gym leader circled her, inspecting her posture like a gladiator eyeing a rookie. He casually noted her arms were like noodles. Her knees could give out any second. He didn't recommend improvement. He issued orders. Loud ones. He declared he'd squeeze the lemon's squeezy out of her. Before she could make sense of that disturbing fruit metaphor, the training began. PT, he announced. Then instantly, head up. Engage your core. She opened her mouth to object, but it was too late. He was already shifting routines. One moment, dumbbells. The next, bench press. No breaks, no logic, just chaos, exercise, and sweat. After minutes of this torment, he granted her a 1-minute break. She hadn't even caught her breath when her phone rang. A monster alert. Her eyes widened. She was the only hero within 1 kilometer. Her mind raced with thoughts. She hadn't used her powers since that day. What if she froze again? What if she couldn't do anything? What if she failed? Malwang, seeing her visibly sweating and shaking, assumed she needed the toilet. She tried to say something, anything, but in her nervous state, the words came out jumbled. Even if I have to go. Malwang misunderstood completely. Then go, he said. Do what you want without holding back. Just don't regret it later. Motivational, or so she thought. With renewed fire in her chest, she sprinted toward the monster. Back in the gym, Malwang realized the tragic truth. The bathroom was out of toilet paper, but she was already gone. At the scene, chaos awaited. A crocodile-like B-rank monster stood menacing over rubble. A young girl was trapped under a rock, moments from death. The would-be healer stood frozen. Then, remembering Malwang's words, she charged. She moved. At last. She pulled the girl from danger just in time. The monster turned on her, its fist raised, but something slammed into it first. Malwang. Appearing out of nowhere, he punched the beast so hard it flew into a building. He stood tall, declared himself the alpha male, then looked at her with utter seriousness and said, "The bathroom was to the left." Seconds later, bam! Monster fist to the face. He grabbed nearby rocks and started chucking them like dodgeballs. He laughed. She blinked. Where was his aura? Could he be fighting without any powers? The monster pinned Malwang to the ground. The girl watched from a distance, confused. He had no aura, no powers, yet he faced the monster head-on. She wondered if he had some hidden weapon. Just then, Malwang stood up, dodged a swipe with ease, and began mocking the beast, shouting that he had an A-rank hunter by his side, so show some effort. He pointed straight at her. She shook her head. His expression dropped. And then, bam! The monster smashed him back into the ground. The monster continued pummeling Malwang, each strike louder than the last. He took the hits, one after another, with no defense, lying beneath the force as the girl stood by. She stepped forward once, unsure, trying to help. But the fear returned. Her confidence crumbled. She couldn't heal no matter how hard she tried. And as Malwang took another crushing blow, he lay motionless. Once again, she couldn't do anything. Tears began to fall as she stood there, helpless. Her power, her purpose. It all felt meaningless. But then, Malwang rose. Bruised and battered, he still stood. His body barely held together, but his mouth never slowed. He mocked the monster again, claiming it was holding back on him. More hits followed, dush, dish, thush, each one landing harder than the last. Through the haze, he noticed the girl crying. Even then, he didn't falter. He told her it wasn't her fault, that she should stop crying. Something sparked in her, a flicker of the fire she once had. Before the monster could land another strike, she rushed forward and activated her healing. Light surged from her hands, and in moments, Malwang's injuries vanished. Now fully recovered, he grinned with renewed energy. He was excited, not just for the fight, but because he now had a newly awakened girl at his side. He grabbed the monster by the neck and flung it across the field. Then, with both hands, he lifted a nearby pole and smashed it down, sending the creature flying into a bus. At that moment, Kiwoong arrived, carrying what looked like a nuclear weapon but was, in fact, a lamb shank. He took a massive bite, and his body instantly rejuvenated. The scene resembled something out of a food anime, complete with exaggerated reactions, but the monster recovered too and launched an attack. Kiwoong blocked it, with the lamb shank, unleashing a named move, Protein Dumbbell Hammer. He continued striking the monster, even taking a few hits in return, but each time the girl healed him instantly. Finally, with one massive slash, they brought the beast down. Malwang pointed at the girl, declaring it the beginning of her new story. She raised her hand, overjoyed that she was able to help, but her blood-stained hand was grabbed and used to sign a gym registration form. Malwang cheered. She stood there, stunned, realizing what she had gotten herself into. Later, Ji-hyun began training at the gym under Malwang's direct supervision. The training was harsh, focused, exhausting. She questioned why she was there, but he had promised to turn her into the healthiest life form on the planet. Though her body struggled, the fact that she could use her powers again made her feel alive. She wondered if the Horse King had something to do with it, if being around him somehow helped. As she lay on the mat, the cat curled up beside her, cozy and still. She thought the cat was comforting her, unaware it was simply making sure she didn't leave. Kiwoong came over with a bottle of water, telling her it was always hard the first time, but it would get better. Every drop of sweat would bring results. She noticed something fall from his pocket. When she told him, he explained it was supposed to be a secret, a movie script. She asked to see it. It was a role about a minor villain. She joked he must be disappointed he wasn't the lead, but he told her he liked being the villain. It made the protagonist shine. With a quiet smile, He admitted he enjoyed being hated. Ji-hyun was quietly impressed. His mindset was strong. He didn't care about others' opinions. She thought about asking for an autograph later. Suddenly, the air shifted. Ki-woong began lifting weights, dumbbells to the shoulders, then over the head. Just then, a roar came from the other side of the gym. The Horse King. He hurled a storm of insults at Ki-woong, brutal, relentless, ridiculous, every sentence louder and more outrageous than the last. "You worthless piece of shot! Is that all you've got? Calling you trash is an insult to trash. You couldn't win an arm wrestling match against a damp paper towel. You eat like a beast but lift like a sponge. Did your protein run away from you? You are the luggage while I am the full package. Telling people you train here is defamation. Pack your sorry gains and get out. You pay rent for that barbell? Then pay mine too, dumbass. You'd lose a lifting contest to a goddamn anchovy. You want to eat above-average chicken breasts with below-average lifts? Get real." Ji-hyun was stunned by the language, asking what he was doing, but the abuse continued without pause. Ki-woong surprisingly asked for more. The more he was insulted, the more strength he found. Finally, he pushed the weight above his head, rejuvenated. The image of Ki-woong shattered in Ji-hyun's mind. After all the insults, he looked completely refreshed. Later, a public support request came through. Heroes were needed to clean up the aftermath and assist in rebuilding. Before Ji-hyun could react, Ki-woong had already rushed outside. She tried to stop him, saying it was for heroes only. Malwang told her Ki-woong was a B-class hero too. At the site, hunters were already working. Ji-hyun and Malwang arrived to help, but a nearby hero recognized her. He asked if she was the Cure Girl. After confirming it, he got excited, said he saw her TikTok Tanghulu challenge. He started asking for another one. He became pushy when she declined, saying she was on a mission. He told her Cure Girl didn't do missions like this. Just do it once, or maybe shake her hips a bit. He offered to buy her dinner. She told him to stop. Before anything else could happen, the Dark Horse appeared, interrupting with some bizarre uwu behavior. After his little dance, he asked for dinner too. The yellow-haired hero picked up Malwang. He recognized him from somewhere. 3 years ago. A group of students smoking in a no-smoking zone. Malwang appeared and told them to stop. They insulted him, called him a hairy geezer. In response, Malwang beat them so thoroughly that one of them started pissing himself on the spot. Now, in the present, Malwang looked at the yellow-haired hero and asked if he'd quit smoking. The yellow-haired hero shouted he'd been looking for Malwang for ages, and now a hero himself declared he was more of an adult. Flames burst from his hands as he used his skill, sending a hot wave of fire toward Malwang. He made fun of him loudly, saying he wasn't the same person anymore and that someone unawakened like Malwang should be punished. But when the fire died down, Malwang hadn't moved. Untouched and unbothered, he came out of the fire like a phoenix and landed one hard punch. Every tooth in the hero's mouth went flying. Malwang stood tall, his loud voice scolding him for thinking that someone who trained for years, making his body strong with hard work, could be hurt by a kid with powers he didn't earn. He yelled at the young hero for not having common sense and told him he should go back to elementary school. Ji-hyun watched it all and calmly thought it was honestly normal for people to get burned like this. Then a soft, musical voice called out, a familiar presence that immediately made Malwang flinch and stop moving as the words came closer, asking if it was their fun gym oppa. Malwang's eyes widened, and a shiver went down his spine. Another hero appeared, Heart King. With a teasing tone, she gave Ji-hyun a quick hello before rushing past her. She wrapped herself around Malwang, holding on tight. Her hands touched his chest and stomach as she squealed, saying how soft and exciting his body felt with every touch. Ji-hyun stood frozen, totally misunderstanding what was happening. Malwang, on the other hand, was not happy. He turned and ran, but Heart King chased right after him, her laughter and a mess following them. Malwang yelled back for her to go away. She answered, promising to make him feel good like last time. Ji-hyun's eyes twitched. Her brain felt scrambled. Behind her, the yellow-haired hero began to move again. Ji-hyun turned and warned him not to move, but before she could finish, he jumped at her, shouting that now he knew where the gym was, he'd burn it all down. Ji-hyun didn't back down. She told him she couldn't let him do that. She said he started this and should be ashamed for using sneaky tricks because he wasn't good enough. He screamed back, asking who she thought she was. She calmly told him the law, Article 23, Paragraph 6. Someone with powers must never hurt someone without powers. What he had done was like trying to kill someone. And if he caused more trouble, she'd stop him herself, as a hero. He lost it. He screamed that all she had was a pretty face, and asked what she could even do. He jumped at her again. But before he could get to Ji-hyun, something sticky shot out from the dark. It wrapped around his arms and legs and stopped him in the middle of his attack. He struggled but couldn't move. Ji-hyun turned. She saw an A-rank monster, ugly and twitching. Its body moved in a strange way. It spoke slowly, asking for Tanghulo. The monster's eyes twitched as it showed it wanted this thing. Then it jumped at Ji-hyun with all its might. She tried to get ready, but a strong shield appeared around her. The hit bounced off and didn't even scratch her. A girl stood nearby, clearly a hero, her hand up, in control. Quickly she used her powers again and trapped the monster in a glowing cage made of energy. Ji-hyun knew her right away. She stepped forward, hardly believing it, and asked if she was really the S-rank hero, Yura. The monster growled and changed its shape, making its arms and legs thin like strings, and slipped through the cage bars. Right away, Yura made a huge hammer out of pure energy and slammed it down on the monster's head. It broke into pieces. Yura turned to Ji-hyun and squinted. She said Ji-hyun looked familiar. Ji-hyun, surprised, said they had met at the Hero Association, that she was Cure Girl. Yura paused. Then her face lit up like she remembered. She called Cure Girl that clown from back then. Ji-hyun's confidence dropped a lot. Meanwhile, Yura looked around. Her eyes found Malwang, who was now giving Heart King a piggyback ride like at a fun park. Without waiting, she blasted Heart King into the sky and turned to Malwang, shouting that he couldn't do anything without her. Malwang didn't answer. His eyes looked empty. His body shook. He was in trauma mode. Tears fell from his face. Ji-hyun stepped closer to make him feel better, but before she could say anything, Yura's face changed. She looked at how close Ji-hyun and Malwang were. Something inside her twisted. Malwang, still very upset, gave Yura a small smile and asked why she hadn't come to the gym lately. She answered by being rough. A giant hammer appeared and smashed him into the ground. Ji-hyun blinked. She started to wonder how many women from Malwang's life would show up with their own problems and big weapons. Behind her, no one saw the monster's pieces come back together. It stood up again, quiet, hiding, and jumped again. Malwang, without a second thought, blocked the hit and protected Ji-hyun. She turned, shocked. He grinned and told her to be careful. She asked if he was okay. He told her he was fine. But Yura didn't like how they sounded. She stared hard at Ji-hyun and thought Ji-hyun was trying to act cute. So Yura acted even cuter. She dramatically tripped over nothing and said she got an ouchie. Malwang was already running, away from the monster. Yura was now really annoyed, so she stopped pretending. She used her power to stop the monster where it stood. Then she made a full suit of energy armor around Malwang, turned it into a cannon, and shot him like a rocket into the monster's chest. The hit was perfect. The monster broke into pieces when Malwang hit it. Touchdown. Ji-hyun's eyes widened. Something flashed around Malwang. It was a quick, light shimmer, not any aura color people knew. It didn't follow the rules. She wasn't sure if it was real or if she just imagined it, but she had seen something. Malwang casually turned to her and asked if she was hungry. Ji-hyun was once again left standing in silence, caught in the weight of her thoughts, feeling useless all over again. The group walked toward a nearby restaurant. Like any gym group, they ordered only food with lots of protein. Nothing but meat, eggs, and pig feet. Yura complained, saying they ordered the same thing every time. Malwang said it was good for the body and told her to eat. Outside, she groaned. Inside, she felt happy. She thought he had a strong but kind way about him, and then wondered what she was thinking. Malwang turned to Ji-hyun, asking her to eat too. Ji-hyun said no, saying she wasn't hungry. Her stomach rumbled loudly, giving her away. She paused, then said she was on a diet, but she thought to herself she could never say. It was because she had anorexia. Malwang got very upset. A diet? He said extreme diets were not allowed. Healthy meals after exercise were a must. A healthy body needs good food. He made her take a bite. The taste hit her like a shock. Her face showed pure happiness. It was so good, she couldn't even hide it. Yura, sitting across from her, noticed. She felt like it was a contest if Ji-hyun was getting attention. So Yura started eating food too, as over-the-top as possible. Malwang just smiled, eating his pig feet, happy to be around protein and quiet. Sometime later, Ji-hyun was at the gym exercising. She noticed significant improvements in her physique, likely due to Horse King's exercises. She felt healthier and less depressed. Suddenly, someone approached her from behind, calling for a brother, startling her so much that she tripped and fell. Scared, she turned to face the stranger. a young woman clutching a cardboard sign, urgently requesting help to stop her brother. The girl shared a backstory filled with hardship. Having lost their parents early, her brother stepped up to fill the void, tirelessly working day and night to support her. He saved enough to send her abroad for her education, allowing her to graduate college. However, upon her recent return to Korea, she found her brother acting strangely, frequently saying an odd catchphrase and rarely coming home. Concerned, she disguised herself and secretly followed him to the gym, suspecting involvement with a bizarre cult, specifically led by a man she described as the cult leader with the tiger print underwear. Ji-young attempted to reassure her that the gym was simply a place for exercise, but before she could finish, loud noises interrupted their conversation. Curious, they peered inside and witnessed a bizarre scene. 4 menacing rock star types shouting aggressive phrases like, "Die hell," and "Go to hell," while charging wildly through the gym, leaving unsettling patches of blood-like marks on the walls and floor. Intrigued and confused, the two decided to follow the strange group. The girl was unsure due to the makeup, but she believed her brother was among them. As they tracked the rockers, they observed the group surround an elderly woman carrying groceries. Ji-hyung was about to intervene, fearing an attack, but was stunned to see the men helping the granny cross the intersection, shouting seemingly hostile phrases the entire time. Further along, another bizarre act unfolded when one of the rock stars seemingly assaulted something above a child's head, only to realize he was merely retrieving a ball stuck in a tree, aggressively telling the kid to be ready next. The absurdity confused Ji-hyung further, causing her to question their intentions. Eventually, their pursuit led them to a suspicious hideout filled with robed, fearful-looking individuals paying at an entrance, deepening Ji-hyung's suspicion that this was indeed a cult. Determined, she and the girl disguised themselves, entering the venue after a chaotic entrance that involved minor injuries. Inside the enormous auditorium, they found themselves amid a fervent gathering. Suddenly, a familiar voice startled the girl. It was indeed her brother. Another dramatic scene unfolded as someone dragged a body onto the stage, revealing Horse King beneath a mask. Chaos erupted with chants demanding a sacrifice, shocking Ji-hyung deeply. Horse King raised a sword dramatically and slashed downward, splattering what appeared to be blood everywhere. Ji-hyung collapsed from shock, only to realize moments later it was ketchup from burgers filled with protein and fat, part of a bizarre fitness-oriented charity event. The room erupted into enthusiastic chants and rigorous exercises like mega deadlift and power lift, revealing the true nature of the so-called cult, a harmless, fitness-driven charity gathering. A relieved Ji-hyung and the girl watched everyone, including gym members, energetically participating in exercises. Realizing her fears had been unfounded, the girl understood her brother was still the same caring person who had always tried to make others happy. Inspired, both joined in the energetic charity event. Meanwhile, unnoticed by anyone, far away in space, a massive spaceship ominously approached Earth. Something none of them would expect of how dark it was to become.